Our connection to other people is ultimately built on having a strong connection to ourselves. And that is a quote by recent author Dr. Vivek Murthy, the former and 19th Surgeon General of the United States. Everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Ellie Parvin. I am your host, communication expert, university professor, the creator of Speak Live Online, the course that helps entrepreneurs improve their communication skills so they can get out there and speak, share their message, and do live video. Of course, I'm the owner of ellieparvin.com and this show. And I'm so excited that you are joining me here today. If you've been following me over the last few days, you know it is my birthday week. And not only am I celebrating my birthday week, but I'm also celebrating another great milestone: meditation. And meditation to me has been one of those things. It's like a butterfly. I had a really hard time chasing it down, being consistent. And I've taught yoga for more than 15 years. You would think that the philosophies of yoga would allow me to adopt meditation a little better, but it was really a challenge. And now, as I am celebrating this achievement, I'll share a little bit about how I did this later. But one of the things that I've discovered over the course of the last 3+ years that I've been meditating is my improved communication and connection with the people I care about in my lives and people that are important to me, even people that I've worked with, whether they're close friends or acquaintances or what have you. But really, I've noticed it with the communication and feedback with my husband. And again, people I care about just the most in my life. And, especially at this time with everything that's going on right now with the quote unquote social distancing, or it's actually physical distancing. It's not really social distancing because people are still on social media. At least that's my feeling, is I view it as physical distancing, not social distancing, because we are social beings. And it's been shown through history that people need human connection, communication, and to feel this belongingness in order to survive, to be part of the community. If you just look back in history, and many of the people now today that they have illness or dis-ease or disease, that oftentimes one of the things you notice about them is that the majority of them have that factor of feeling lonely or loneliness. And now, what does this have to do with communication? Well, as I mentioned before, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm a communication professor. I have been studying and teaching communication for a while. And a lot of experts out there in communication field, in the medical field, are starting to recognize the benefits of meditation, and not just for the benefits of reducing stress and anxiety, but my personal experience has been that I've seen the ability to almost just be more aware of myself and observant of what's going on in this vessel and this vessel up here. Now, if you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza, his work is incredible. I know sometimes people think he's a little woo woo, but whether you think he's woo or not, his work is amazing and poignant. And I was listening to one of his audiobooks, and he said something to the sort of, one of the best ways to become more observant is to meditate. And that's what I've experienced over the course of meditation, as I've become more observant of myself. And for those of you that have tried meditating, if you think back a little, yes, maybe you are more observant of yourself and your reactions and your responses and your behaviors when you've more so than when before you started meditating. And if if you think about interpersonal communications, for example, what is interpersonal communications? I actually teach a course in interpersonal communications, and the sole definition I can give you, the academic definition of that, is simply just the process by which people exchange information, feelings, and meaning through verbal and nonverbal messages. Communication, the way we communicate with others. And there are a variety of reasons why interpersonal communication is important. It's a skill we learn over time by who we're raised by and what we experience and do. I mean, some of the things that interpersonal communication does, I'll just share that with you here, is it can be used to give and collect information, to influence the attitudes and behaviors of others, form contacts and maintain relationships. And remember that one, because that one is key. Interpersonal communication is a skill that can help us form contact and maintain relationships, make sense of the world around us and our experiences in it, express personal needs and understand the needs of others, give and receive emotional support. That is one of my favorites, everyone. And make decisions and solve problems, anticipate and predict behavior, and regulate power. And that last one, not super important to me, but the couple on them are areas that I'm skilled in. And you'll probably, after hearing that list, think to yourself, oh, yeah, there are areas there where I'm equally as skilled in too. Like they just clicked for you. They ding, ding, ding. And maybe areas where like, I could work on that a little better. More general than not, the regulating power for women, that one is a skill that needs to be worked on, just because, again, the communities we're raised in and how we're raised and what society and the community around us shares with us and educates us by and shows us with those skills of communication and interpersonal communication. I mean, we learn by watching. We learn by the actions of others, and then we apply them to our daily life, and those get cemented in. But the nice thing about the meditation is that once I was able to do it more regularly, I would notice that I could be almost outside of myself after the reaction. The this whatever people are zen all day and always calm, so unrealistic. Hi, Karen, welcome to the show. It's so unrealistic. It's so unrealistic that you just believe that if you meditate every day that you're like this zen Buddha on a mountain. They're on a mountain. Of course, I'm sure they're dealing with other things like cold, birds, bugs, what have you. And anyhow, I digress. One of the things that you could do is, just start with a slow practice, and I'll share a little bit more about my process for that later. But going back to how meditation can improve your communication, one of the things that is super important to me, that has always been important to me. And real quickly before I jump in, Karen is asking, are we live? Yes, Karen, we are live. I just went without posting a future broadcast. We are going live right now, and you should be able to just share it or what have you if you like. So if you're watching me now, we're live. And if you're missing that live broadcast, it's obviously this will be pre-recorded. This will be recorded so you can watch it later. Now, going back to communication, one of the things that, as I mentioned, going back down that list of the uses of interpersonal communications and communication skills, is that it helps you when you improve upon those skills. One of the things you can use interpersonal communication for is to form contacts and maintain relationships. And of course, express personal needs and understand the needs of others, and also giving and receiving emotional support. These three things are very important in your personal relationships, business relationships, and just daily acquaintance relationships. And the reason why is because if you're not doing all these things, those relationships will experience conflict. And one of my missions in life, one of the things I've seen growing up and experiencing the world is relationships and communication can be affected by miscommunication, misunderstanding. And my goal is, and passion in life, and my mission in life is to help reduce that in the best way I can. And what does that mean? Well, I have to work on myself because I'm just as guilty as of making those mistakes, miscommunicating, not understanding what's going on inside me. So and maybe thinking about my own personal feelings and emotions. And when we think about our own personal feelings and emotions, we immediately stop caring about the person that we're having conflict with. Even though we truly do care about them, but in that moment we're triggered and we want to be heard and understood. We are not thinking about the other person, and no longer are we're only expressing the personal needs of our own and not understanding the personal needs of others, which again is that skill that we work to develop. And when we do that, we're not working to maintain those relationships. And there were often times I would get triggered and I would just bounce back. You know how it is. You just, yeah, you don't understand me. You're triggering me. I've told you a million times this upsets me and you're doing it again. But look at the end of the day, I don't know why. It's crazy over the last couple of years because of meditation. I've actually been able to, instead of react like that and work to explain and be misunderstood, that I can actually pause and take a breath and realize, whoa, this is not even the other person. This is me that's feeling that way. This person loves me, or this friend cares about me. They don't know how I'm feeling. They can't read your heart. They can't read your history. They can't read your mind. And, it is one of those things that we do become reactive and not receptive to. Exactly, Karen. Exactly. And one, so what this leads us to is this conflict in communication. And when this happens, we're moving away from that effective interpersonal communication. And how how do we minimize this defensiveness in communication? That's one of the things that you do to reduce conflict in communication. And for me, meditation has been a huge part of it. It's just taking that moment to settle and go inside of ourselves and just say, hey, you know what? I don't need to act like that. That is not about that person. It is about me. Just learning how to catch yourself. I want to say it's almost like you're outside yourself for that moment, and you can just stop yourself from this roller coaster. Handsy today. You can stop yourself from this roller coaster of going downhill into an argument, into a conflict with someone you care about, or someone whose relationship is important to you, a customer, even in business, or a client. That's it's been such a powerful thing. So this is why I feel that communication has really benefited from meditation. And as I mentioned before, meditation is challenging too, because again, it's not that we're just trying something new. We have to find out that kind of meditation, just like communication, understanding what triggers us. When we're learning something new or a new skill or a habit, we have to find out what works for us. And what works for me is not going to work for you. And Karen, you're on here right now. I have a feeling you have a meditation practice. And what kind of meditation do you do? I'd love for you to share that, because she is one of those people that when I have a discussion with her and the way she looks at life, and I know her past, I know her experiences, and she's an incredibly has an incredibly positive movement towards forward motion in her life and cares about her family so much that I know that she would have a great share on this, and probably has some kind of mindfulness or meditation practice. And for me, I started out, I tried, I was going through a lot of difficult times, and my mom, she had been diagnosed with cancer, and I was having a lot of difficulty in my relationship with my mother prior to that. She had developed mental illness, and it was difficult. It was challenging. And meditation really helped me. I actually started doing the meditation so that I could be calmer on the days that I spent time with her. And it was just out of sheer having to do it. I at the time, when we would have conflict during our time together, we would be lunches, and I would actually go to I would go to the bathroom, grab some paper towels, put them on the floor and do push-ups and come back and to release that anxiety and energy, because I didn't want to fight with the person who, when a person has a mental illness, it's really not about you. So you have to say goodbye to this old relationship you had with that family member and look at the relationship and approach the relationship as a new one, which means completely revamping this communication style and technique. And we went from having a fantastic communication style. I had the most incredible mother growing up. The reason I am the person I am now is so much because of her. And it's so incredible, like that the gifts she's given me. But this is not her fault that this has been that this happened to her. Yet I need, if I want to be with her, I need to create a new set of boundaries and find this new way to communicate. That's a challenge in and of itself. And you can tell it's a challenge for me to talk about because I really don't share this story quite so often. But anyhow, going back, so the meditation actually helped me and to do this and to be with her and not to have to always to go to the bathroom, or I could go to the bathroom and just breathe and just say a mantra and kind of collect myself and come back and hug her, and it this she would then just kind of move back out of this space. She was never angry with me. She was just, something was going on inside her. And it's my job as a person who wants to improve their communication to look beyond myself and look into her environment, her experiences, her needs, so that I can, as I said, as a skill in interpersonal communication, maintain this relationship. And I mean, we could discuss this for hours, but I want to step back to meditation really helped me through that. And when she got cancer, it helped me through that. Even though it was still difficult and I had to go through the feelings and emotions, that helped me through that. When we lost her, it helped me in my recovery. In addition, there's other things that you can do in addition to meditation that I really love that Karen has shared that also helped me get through a lot of trauma after losing my mom, was tapping. And tapping is another way to just release energy, negative energy in our bodies. And it's a way of being intentional. Anytime we do something that heals ourselves, and Karen and I, we both love tapping. If you haven't heard of tapping, it's also called EFT, or emotional freedom technique. And really, what meditation, mindfulness, tapping, any of these things have that they do for us is it's giving us that moment to be mindful and to stop and intention set. Anytime we're getting out of this day to day, rush to rush, day to day, we wake up in the morning, we look at our phone, we do that. I don't look at my phone first thing anymore in the morning, but look at our phone, get the kids out of bed, have breakfast, or maybe not have breakfast, have coffee, go to work, do everything that everybody else needs for us. And then we come home, and then there's more needs from us. And then we barely have enough time to just unwind, and go to sleep. Really, in the day to day, when are we setting that intention for ourselves? When we meditate, when we take that time to be still or tap or just be mindful and breathe or do a walking meditation, even if you need to go outside and do some earthing, take those shoes off, walk on the sand, walk on the concrete, walk on your grass. I mean, we don't have too much grass around here because it's really hot in the summertime. And a lot of people have artificial grass. I don't recommend walking on artificial grass, but earthing, anything you can do to just take yourself out of that space where you're just meeting other people's needs and set this intention for yourself. What this does is gives you that space, gives you that time to connect with yourself, connect with your body, connect with what your needs are. And and instead of when you're having an argument or you're triggered by your spouse or a loved one or a friend or a client or a customer or someone standing in line at the grocery store or the person who's not wearing their mask when they should be during COVID-19 or the light or someone who cuts you off on the freeway, then you can just become more receptive and not reactive. Exactly, Karen. Exactly. And this is just such a powerful message I want to share with you on how meditation can help you with your communication. If it's just not one other reason to meditate, one extra reason to meditate is to improve your communication. For me, because communication is such a part of my life that my heart just revolves around. It's so important to me. My relationships are so important to me. At least I try to show that the meditation, I will always do it because I've seen that it's benefited my relationship with my husband. In fact, a couple weeks ago, oh no, in fact, over the past weekend, this weekend, I wasn't my I love my husband, but he has a tendency, he's home right now, so I don't want him to hear me. He has a tendency to wait sometimes to plan things. And now if you've known me for a while, my birthday is really important to me. I'm the of the person that likes to be there for others and give and give. I've always been this way growing up. I have a sibling, but on my birthday, my mother and my dad, mostly my mom, well, actually my dad too, they would make like it would be my day. Like you were allowed to be selfish that day because it was your day, it was your birthday. And it's not an age, it's not a number thing for me. It's it's really just it's my birthday and it's my day. It can be, it's the day that people you know and care about, they let you know they care about you and they send you messages. Like I love getting all the social media message on Instagram and Facebook and my text and my voicemails and the phone calls. I love that. I absolutely love it. I feel like on cloud 9 right now because yesterday was so special. But now that my mom is gone, I don't get, she starts like the whole month I'm special. So it's not just on my day, it's the whole month. So it's important to me. And I know some people think it's just a day, blah blah blah. Okay, it's okay. But for me it's important. Well, he wasn't really asking me anything and I didn't know, and we have this tradition that every year we we go to the restaurant where he took me on our first date, which subsequently was on my birthday, was our first date. And so we go there with the exception of 3 or 4 other times where we actually for our birthdays went to Maui through 2 or 3 times and Kauai once for our birthdays just to celebrate. Yes, I know, rough life, right? But um, but yeah, yeah, I appreciate him. Here's the situation. He does wonderful things for me every day. Like all these incredible little things. Like if I need one thing from the store and I don't want to go, he'll go and get it for me. I mean, this is on a daily. This is how, so I really you know, don't want to push. But because our restaurant was closed, we had a trip booked to Maui and we canceled it last week because obviously everybody canceled their trips, right? You don't want to fly during this time. And so that trip got canceled. But he did plan that in advance, which was great. And, no big deal. Not stressing about that because we can always go later. But then I thought, well, what are we going to do? And I wanted something special. So I actually, I meditated before I talked to him about it. And it was a hard discussion for me because I don't want to say, hey, babe, I hope you have something great planned, um, and give him pressure because I still appreciate him in anything he would do. And that's a hard, I feel it makes me feel like I'm not appreciating him. But the truth, so I just remind myself it's better for me to say something sooner than to wait for the day expecting something and then to be disappointed and upset. And I just reminded him, I said, you know, please plan something special. I don't care what it is. Just, it can be very simple. I'm not a grandiose person. Simple and a little bit of thought put into something is perfect for me. I don't need like Ritz Carlton delivered to the house or something crazy like that. But just something special that's him. Like, he knows me well enough. And if he doesn't know, he can ask right at that moment. So just giving that person that you love the opportunity, but also centering myself, knowing that I'm a little vulnerable during this time because my mom passed away about a little over a year ago, that I'm feeling sensitive about it, just getting in touch with that, getting in touch with my heart and my emotions, and making it so the meditation helps me so that when I'm communicating with him, that it's not about my interpersonal stuff. And I use a little meta communication when I say I'm a little bit sensitive around this time because of my mom, and you know how I am, and I don't want you to be stressed about it. I just want to give you the heads up that it would be nice if there's something nice that day. And I could actually feel the welling of the stress and the worry kind of stirring up inside, and I just kept breathing and staying calm, and we sat next to each other, and it was mellow, and he was a little antsy about it at first, but then it was fine. And you know what? Then the day came and he blew me away. Blew me away. And I'm not talking about, ordering an expensive dinner and doing all this, but it's the heart and the feeling and what he put into the day, and his just sweetness the night before. He's like, oh, it's a few minutes for your birthday, and just making a big deal and waking up in the morning, getting a kiss on the cheek, going downstairs to get coffee, and there's flowers that he's made from our garden on the table, and just all these little things that are, to me, that he knows mean so much to me and are very special. And I would really, Karen is asking, yeah, it would be great if I interviewed him one day. It would be great. But you guys, he is horrified of being on camera. I can hardly get him on Instagram. He took pictures on my birthday we did a birthday walk yesterday, and he took pictures with me. No complaints because it's my birthday. He's a little shy. Little shy. So, like, you know what they say, opposites attract. Now, if you meet him in person, totally not shy. He's great. He's almost extroverted like me. He's pretty much extroverted like me. But when it comes to camera or presenting, you guys, that is a learned skill. Not every I was not comfortable on camera at first. To be honest with you, I was a little nervous coming on today because it's been a while since I've done a live by myself. And usually I just sit here and I host, and it's, I was having a conversation, and now I'm just having conversation with you gorgeous people. So it's different. I haven't done it in a while, but I had a little bit of butterflies, but it's mostly because I was excited. But still, that makes you nervous. And yeah, someday, Karen, someday I will get him on. Most husbands are nervous to come on, right? One of these days. I think that would be really cool. Really cool to have him on. And he's actually so good on camera. He's so smart. He's so expressive. He might be a little shy on camera because people are watching, but you know how that goes. Anyhow, I digress. So, this could have in the past become something explosive where I cry, not because he made me cry, but because of all the personal stuff inside. And because I've been working on it, just like meditation, just like learning how to ride a bike or snowboard or rollerblade or drive a stick shift, the more we do things over time, the easier they become, the more they benefit us. And in the beginning, when I started this new change of communication where I would just stop myself, or I would say something with the tone or loud, and I would say, "Oh, sorry, that was loud." Like if I say that, I'm immediately disarming him. But I'm only able to do that because I can take that breath and step outside myself, which, thank you, yoga. Again, going back to the Joe Dispenza quote that one of the best ways to become more observant is to meditate. And it's helped me become more self-observant. And that has helped improve my interpersonal communication skills, some of the areas of interpersonal communication. And if you're just popping on now and you've missed the beginning part of the podcast where I talked about the interpersonal communications and how this kind of connects with meditation, then please watch it from the beginning, because even if your meditation is not for you, you can try tapping like Karen does, EFT tapping. You can try walking meditation. You could just try to, I don't know, next time you go to the bathroom, just don't bring your phone or your book or anything in there. Do five deep, slow breaths, inhaling for a count of 5, holding for a count of 5, exhaling for a count of 8, and do 5 slow, deep breaths. So just as deep as you can go, not down to your lungs. Don't fill up your lungs. I want you to fill up all the way down to your lower belly. And I really feel that that will help you. That will help you just get that little bit of space for yourself to get in touch with yourself and become more self-observant, so that when you are in those moments and you start to practice and become more aware in those times where the people around your lives trigger you, that you'll be able to, I don't know, take ownership of it and guide your way out of that negative communication or conflict communication or miscommunication experience. So, with that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today on my solo show, birthday week. I'm even coming on with like no makeup. I do have mascara on and very casual style today, just to be here for you. I will have another guest interview next week. So if you're not, in fact, next week's guest, if you're not already doing live videos or presenting or doing things like this, I'm actually having Carrie, the live stream expert, a incredible man I met. He when I watched him, it was originally on Periscope back in the day when I first started doing lives. And I kept watching him because he looked like a news broadcaster. This guy's so good. He knows, I've actually, some of the stuff I learned from him. He knows all about the tech. And the guy has a voice as smooth as butter. So I highly recommend that you, once I post this show up to go on next week, that you sign up for that. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you so much for the happy birthday wishes, Karen. It's been so great coming on. Maybe I'll have to do some more of these. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what the feedback is. Just let me know in the post below. I want to wish you all communication for success, health, and happiness. Ciao for now.